Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today, after about a month and about 2 weeks or so into the MLB season, I'm going to be redoing my power rankings to reflect what has happened so far this month, with some surprises in the good way and also in a bad way. But let's go ahead and firstly describe the tiers we have today. First, we have World Series favorite. Should be pretty self-explanatory. These are like for the top tier teams that are blazing off. People are expecting to be in there for the World Series. Not going to be many teams in that tier. Then we got divisional favorites. Teams that maybe aren't good enough to take that step to the World Series, but are favorited in that division currently. Then we got wildcard teams that are competing for the 3 wildcard spots. Should be better. Teams that are disappointing, that I expect that got to slow start, disappointing starts, but I expect to be able to turn around in the future. Then we got trash. Bad teams just being bad. And then extreme trash. The absolute worst team in MLB. There might be 2 of them. Who knows? But first, let's go ahead and get started with the LA Angels, who are currently sitting second in the AL West, just behind the Texas Rangers at 19-16. At the time of the recording, just double checking that. Yes, 19-16, and are currently a game and a half back of the 3rd spot in the AL wildcard, mainly because the AL East has been absolutely insane this year. But I am going to put them in wildcard, as I don't think the AL East will continue to be there. They're going to dominate each other. The Angels are playing very good baseball. Pitching has been good. Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout have been fantastic. This might be the year they might make the playoffs again. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But right now, the Angels are putting in wildcard, just to have them there. Then we got the Houston Astros, who are currently tied for third in the AL West with a 17-17 record. Kind of not been a great start. Everyone thought they should be like walking away with the division because they didn't know what the Rangers were doing, the Angels were doing, knew the A's were going to be trash, and we thought that the Mariners would be their only competition. So right now, even though they're 17-17, I do expect them to. It's disappointing. They should be better than this, and I expect them to be better than this. That's why they're going in the should be better tier. Just because I'm disappointed in them. I expect them to be up here by a month or 2, just because. Then we got you. Absolute worst team in MLB at an 8-27 record. There's no excuse. They're completely purposely making the team cheap so to make the move to Vegas better, because saying no fans are going to the game. Well, yeah, because you're bad. Who wants to go see a bad team play? No one. No one does. And so you're going to extreme trash. Stay in the basement where you belong. Despicable. Despicable what you're doing. And then we got the Toronto Blue Jays, who, even though they're 21-14, are currently 3rd in their division, which just shows how crazy the AL East is going, because they have been playing really, really good baseball. I wouldn't say they're a World Series or divisional favorite, mainly because that division is just so tough. They are definitely a wild card favorite, though, above the Angels in that regard, because Toronto, they got a good team. They got a real good team. Atlanta, over in the NL East, have a big lead. They're currently the best team in the NL at 24-11, 7-game lead over the Miami Marlins. These guys are World Series favorites. Like, they are playing some of the best baseball in the National League. Ronald Acuna Jr. has been fantastic, early MVP favorite. Sean Murphy has been an absolute get for them, absolutely mashing behind the catcher's position, playing very, very, very good baseball for Atlanta. So they're World Series favorites. Then we got the Milwaukee Brewers, who just had one of the worst skids they've had in a while. They're currently at 19-15, good for 2nd in the NL Central, half game behind the Pittsburgh Pirates. And that division has kind of been bad. I expect them to. I'm going to put them, actually, even though the Pirates are leading, I'm putting the Brewers in divisional favorite, mainly because I think that skid was just a really rough patch dealing with injuries in the pitching staff. And I don't expect the Pirates to really keep that up, really. So I think the Brewers are still divisional favorites, mainly because how weak that division is. So I wouldn't be surprised if they win it with like 88 wins or something like that. And then we got the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals. You were expected to compete for the division. And right now, you have the 3rd worst record in baseball. I am not kidding. They have the 3rd worst record in baseball. The only teams worse than them are the Royals and the A's. I expect you to be better, but you're doing so bad. I'm not even putting you in a should be better tier because you're way below that. Like that, just like teams like the Houston or the Mets who are like still playing decent baseball, but just haven't reached their full potential. You belong in trash because you have been trash. So, yeah, that's where you're going, St. Louis. Have fun down there. I love seeing you down there. Don't have any magic pixie dust. That's all I gotta say. Next up is the Chicago Cubs, who currently are third in the NL Central at 17-17, which is about where everyone kind of expected them to be. Not really competing for a wild card right now. They're about only a half game back of a wild card, so I guess you can put them in wild card contention right now, but definitely on the lower end. They're behind the Blue Jays and the Angels. Next up is the Arizona Diamondbacks, who have been a very surprising team so far this year. Currently 19-15, tied for the first wild card with Milwaukee Brewers, and only a game and a half back of the Dodgers. So Arizona, that young core is playing very, very well. Zach Gallen, I saw him pitch live. Man, he is nasty. So they are going in wild card ahead of the Angels, but behind the Blue Jays. Next up is the LA Dodgers, who are currently, as mentioned before, winning the NL West at the moment. Game and a half lead over the Diamondbacks, and it's currently the second best record in baseball. They have been kind of on a slow start, not really the dominant LA team that we've been seeing in recent years. So I'm putting them in divisional favorite tier because I just think that the Braves are just such a better team than them. So I think because on World Series figures, I'm just putting for the top two teams, obviously. But they're definitely ahead of the Brewers. But they have a big series coming up against Milwaukee. See what goes there. Then we got the San Francisco Giants, who are currently, where are they at? 15-18. 5 games back of the Dodgers, and are currently 2 games back of the wild card. These guys are going in trash. I feel bad doing that because I really don't have a mediocre tier, as I don't really want one. But I think they're going to slip even more in the future, but they're definitely doing better than the Cardinals. So I feel bad putting them in the trash because they're not really a should-be-better team, but because they're just doing what they expected, but being kind of a bad team. So there's that. And then we got the Cleveland Guardians, who I expected to be a little bit better. Currently 16-18, 2.5 games behind the Minnesota Twins for the division. This is another team that's going to be in the should be better team. I expected this team to be a lot better, especially how weak that division is, and they just really kind of haven't. And so they're going behind Houston in the should be better tier. Seattle Mariners, again, another team in the AL West that's disappointing so far. 17-17, tied for Houston. Again, I expected this team to be competing for that division title. Right now, they're kind of not playing the best baseball, even though they have been heating up recently, which has been good. Again, they're going in the should be better team ahead of Houston, mainly because Houston's been sliding a little bit recently, so there's that. Then the Miami Marlins, currently 17-18, tied for second place in the NL East. Doing pretty good. They're not setting the world on fire or anything. They're currently only a game back of the wild card spot, though, so they're going behind the Cubs in the wild card team. There's going to be a lot of teams in wild card, mainly because separation hasn't really happened yet. And then we got the New York Mets, who are tied with the Marlins at 17-18 for second place in the division. And with a team that's spending that much money and that much on luxury payroll, they should be a lot better. They should be competing with the Braves for that division. Right now, they're not. They're really, really disappointing right now. They should be better. I expect them to be better, but we'll just see what happens there. Right now, I'm putting them behind Seattle and Houston and ahead of Cleveland. Then we got the Washington Nationals, 14-20, 9.5 games last place in the division. About where we expected them to be. So, which is trash. They're going ahead of the Cardinals because the Cardinals have just been so bad. But we expect them to kind of be in there. They're rebuilding. Not too much to go there. Then we got the Baltimore Orioles, who have been playing really, really fantastic. Second best record in the AL. Third best in all of baseball. The only reason why they're not winning their division is because Tampa Bay has been absolutely insane. But since they are would be the winner in 4 of the 6 divisions, I'm putting them in division favorite, mainly because even though they're technically a wild card team, they have been playing a lot better than all these other wild card teams. So Orioles are going up here in this tier because you're just a step behind World Series, mainly because you're so young, but you're really, really good. San Diego currently third place in the NL West at 18-17, 3 games behind. Have been playing better recently. Currently fighting in that wild card mess. Currently the third wild card spot in the NL. So you're going in wild card tier behind the Diamondbacks, who are ahead of you. And then the Phillies, the defending pennant champion Philadelphia Phillies, playing really bad, 16-19, fourth place in that division, 8 games behind the Braves. You're a team that should be better. You went to the World Series last year. I know they just got Bryce Harper back, so they should start to play better, which that's why they're going to should be better tier. But currently, they're behind all these teams in performance. Then we got the surprising Pittsburgh Pirates, who currently are first in the NL Central with a half-game lead, but that doesn't mean much because that whole division is struggling right now. The only team that has a 500 record in that division in the last 10 games, it's the Reds. The Pirates are 3-7 in their last 10, so they're starting to cool off a bit. I'm still putting them in wild card tier just for the moment. I know they're winning the division, but the Brewers, I think, are just a better team. And I think the Pirates are quickly starting to fall back to earth. Then we got the Texas Rangers, who are currently leading the AL West with a 20-13 record, 2 games ahead of the Angels. They have been playing really well. Their big free agent signings have worked out, even though Jacob deGrom has been dealt with injuries, but they have been playing really good baseball. Division favorite, I'm going to put them ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers in that range. And then we got the Tampa Bay Rays. What else can we say about them? They tied the record for most wins in a row to start the season with 13. They're 28-7, an 800 winning percentage, have a 5.5 game lead over the Orioles, who have been playing fantastic baseball. They got great pitching, a great bullpen, good defense, good hitting. They're just the best team in baseball, and they are right now the World Series favorite. They have just been doing very well. There's no surprise there. Then we got the Boston Red Sox, who at 21-15 are 7.5 games behind the Rays. And even though they're at that record, they aren't even they're in the last wild card spot with the Orioles and Blue Jays and the Red Sox. So at the season end of the day, that's 4 AL East teams in the playoffs, which is just absolutely insane. And so they're going a wild card behind the Blue Jays. So that AL East is just crazy again. Then we got Cincinnati. They're 14 and what are they? 14 and 20. They're trash. What we expected. Nothing too exciting there. Colorado 14 and 21. Another team that is trash. They're going behind the Reds because they have a worse record than the Reds. Not really much to say there. And then we got the Kansas City Royals, who are the only other team in baseball besides the Aces to not have 10 wins. They are going in extreme trash because you cannot be that bad without being in extreme trash. If you're competing with the A's for the worst record in baseball, you're bad. End of story. And then we got the Detroit Tigers, 15-18, 3 games behind the division. They're playing pretty well. I mean, I still think they're not a great team, so they're still going in the trash tier, but they're no better than everyone else in trash. They're relatively in the striking distance in their division, so they're going in the top spot in trash. Then the Minnesota Twins, they are currently leading the AL Central at 19-16. Same record as the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, divisional favorite, so I'm going to put them here in division behind the Brewers. Then we got the White Sox, who are 12 and 23. They have been absolutely awful. They are trash. They're going here in the tier. And then the Yankees at 18-17 are last place in their division. That's just how crazy the AL East has been this year. Absolutely insane. So I'm still putting them in the wild card tier because I have more confidence in them than the Cubs and Marlins. But they're a team that their division is just crazy. So if going order from 1 to 30, number 1, Tampa Bay. 2, Atlanta. 3, Baltimore. 4, Dodgers. 5, Texas. 6, Milwaukee. 7, Minnesota. 8, Toronto. 9, Boston. 10, Pittsburgh. 11, Arizona. 12, San Diego. 14, LA Angels. 15, New York Yankees. 16, Chicago Cubs. 17, Miami Marlins. 18, Seattle Mariners. 19, Houston Astros. 20, New York Mets. 21, Cleveland Guardians. 22, Phillies. 23, Tigers. 24, Giants. 25, Nationals. 26, Reds. 27, Rockies. 28, White Sox 29, Cardinals, and I miscounted somewhere, so Royals and then A's. And again, even though like I do believe that the Blue Jays, Red Sox are better than teams like the Brewers and Twins, this is just based on divisional standings and how I think they will finish in like playoff structures. So that's why even though I in like actual like 1-30, Toronto, these two teams would be ahead of like these three. But it's just because of the way that divisions are working out right now. That's why like Texas, Milwaukee, and Minnesota are ahead of teams like Toronto and Boston. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. How do you think my tier went? And hopefully we see some good baseball in the future because the season has been really, really exciting. And until then, see you again very soon.